not on vacation.
He's not with mom and dad, so there are no rules.
He knows that.
Morning.
Good morning.
We're gonna go next door and get some food.
Aw. I'm like, you need to leave.
We have to stretch us on the table here, though.
You know that guy. You know that guy. Don't you?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? You got to fix her hair. Did your mom tell you that?
But you're so pretty with your lipstick.
Your mom would say, your chapstick on the face. Me too.
We're 1 minute late.
This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. America and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, BG. BG. The following will be a testing ship's whistle, the sunflower alarm, payroll alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Maybe I gotta back this up a little bit.
And welcome to the #1 radio station in all of Fort Myers Beach. Beach Talk Radio.
Here we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming to La Ola. We are outside. It's a beautiful day on the beach. It's perfect weather for an outdoor show, and it's also perfect weather for a 15th anniversary party for La Ola. Can we get a big hand for Tom and his team here? Turn the microphone on, Jim. Did you need me to put your lipstick on for you too, or did you able to do that
You
yourself?
forgot yours.
No, I stopped wearing lipstick in the 80s. So.
No, you just don't wear it in the day, folks. You should
Oh,
see
stop.
what he does at home
Oh,
in the
please.
privacy
How
of his
dare you? How
bathroom.
dare you? So, I want to make sure the sound.
Girls
Okay,
all
thank you.
there.
Sam Lurie's always the first person to make sure that the sound and the picture are good, and we appreciate that. We have a dunk tank here that starts at 11
Petey,
o'clock,
get down.
and it's $3 for five balls, or is it? No, it's $5 for 3 balls. $5 for Tom's freaking out over there. And today's charity is the
It's $10 for 3 balls.
PTO, and so we're going to be raising money for the PTO. And Tom, do you have the list of people that are going in the dunk tank that I can read off? Is there a list of the names? I know that I'll be in at 11, and then
It's on Facebook.
It's on Facebook. Well, do you have it printed out somewhere, or can you print it
No.
out somewhere? All right. Well, go on Facebook if you want to see who's in the dunk tank, and I think it goes until 4 o'clock, and they have live music at 2 o'clock today, just like they did yesterday here. So come on down to Fort Myers Beach. We are at in Times Square, where Tom will be our guest in the second half of the show. And first, I want to tell you a quick story. Here comes Tom now.
Well, it starts out with you.
Yeah.
And then Jason.
Jason. Oh, Jason from Margaritas will be here at 11:30.
And then I'm up.
And then Tom.
And then Mike Miller.
Mike Miller.
And then you have to look on Facebook.
All right, then you have to look on Facebook. All right. And you were first in the. No, you weren't first yesterday. You were in at 12 o'clock.
12:30.
12:30, and Jamie Hockey was the first one to throw a ball at you.
And
the
on his first
shot,
throw
you were in the
with
water.
the first person. And I will say, I was impressed because he backed up and I was like, oh, all right. And then he wound up and he was throwing some heat down through there. I was like, did you used to play baseball? Were you a pitcher? Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. So
You could tell.
Is there? We need to find out from the women's club how much money was raised yesterday, so we can raise more money
Did
today.
you play in the major leagues? Now I feel like we're missing something.
So-
Okay.
So, do you know how much money was raised for the women's club yesterday, Tom? So, if somebody from the women's club is listening, please let us know how much total money was raised, so that I can say I raised more money for the PTO than she raised yesterday for the women's
Well,
club.
that's because more people dislike you.
Oh, you were about to say hate me.
Yes, I was, but hate's a strong word.
So on Friday, just a quick story before we get to our guest. On Friday, I finally took my baby truck into the dealership to get an oil change because, you know, the computer screen scream at you and you need an oil change now. So it's yelling at me, I need an oil change. So I take it to the dealership and you get 2 free oil changes apparently when you buy a vehicle. So it was my first free oil change. So I take it in at 7:30 in the morning. The guy says to me, an hour to an hour and a half. I said, all right, I take my bike. I ride my bike to the gym. 2 hours later, I come back. I'm sitting out in front of the dealership for another hour. Now we're up to 3 hours waiting for the oil change. And I don't care. I mean, it's Friday. I'm just sitting out there. Then they bring me out a contract for a loaner vehicle because they said that they started to download all the software, update the software on the vehicle like it's a computer now. So they start downloading all the software and they say it's going to take a few more hours. So they gave me this electric. I've never been in an electric vehicle before.
He comes home with an electric vehicle. I'm like, we have no way to charge that. Yeah. What are we going to do with that?
And I never want to be in an electric vehicle again. The guy's like, you get in the vehicle and you press on the brake and the car starts, but you can't hear the car. So how do I even know if the car starts? And then he goes, you just touch this knob here and changes to drive. Now, when I brought it back to the dealership, I couldn't figure out how to put it into park. I mean, I just tried to lock it and get out and hope the thing wouldn't roll down the hill. So, I mean, I don't know how those things, they're $50,000. Why would you buy? What is the purpose of a $50,000 electric
you're
vehicle?
Not buying gas, I guess.
Well, Trump's gas is under $3 though. Who cares anymore? So okay,
environmental
little sidetrack thing here. She says she thought she was going to quiz me on something. I said to her, "Do you know?" I don't know what we were arguing about last night. I said, "Do you know what the number one energy oil producer is in the world?" And I said, "It's the United States. That's who's the number one oil producer in the world." And so she thinks I'm wrong. So she Googles it and she goes, "Well, you're wrong. It's the UAE and then Saudi Arabia and then the United States." And I was like, "Wow, how did I get that wrong?" But she lied because I was right. The United States is the number one. Why would you do that?
I'm a really good liar.
Yes,
and I was fast. I did not miss a beat.
I tried to get my
United
Google out.
States. I was like, look, UAE and Saudi Arabia.
No, so back to my story. I know it's boring you all, but so
the babies are upset.
So 5 o'clock, I finally go down to the dealership, and my 8-hour oil change is done, and I must have like gold oil in that vehicle now. So I Saturday morning, I park over here next to Margaritaville for the show, which is a great spot. I come down here so I could dunk her a few times, and I go run back. She goes, "I'm leaving. You have to leave at 2:30. 2:28, I texted her that I'm on my way. I get in the vehicle, won't start. Nothing. All I see is on the computer, it just keeps rotating around like everything's wrong. Check the back seat. You're about to blow up. I mean, 50,000 things are going wrong with the vehicle, and it won't start. So I called the guy that changed my oil. I said, dude, what did you?
First, he called me. What do I do? What do I do? I'm like, all right, I'll get you the number for Chevy. They have roadside assistance, but you should call the dealership too. And because what are we going to do? All of this stuff is in there.
So they were going to send me a lift to take me back to the house and tow. First of all, he said he was going to tow the vehicle back to the dealership. And I said, you can't tow this vehicle. Do you know how many people hate me on this beach? If they see my vehicle on the back of a tow truck, that picture is going on Facebook. It's going to be the first picture on Facebook. So the dealership guy calls me back and he goes, I'm pretty sure it's the battery. And I said, okay, what do we do? He goes, I'm getting in my vehicle with a technician and a new battery, and I'm driving down there. So he did come all the way down here in his personal vehicle with a battery, didn't charge me for the battery. The technician put the battery in. And, he was like, I went on your Facebook page and I saw you had 131,000 followers. So I think I'm going to come down with the battery and put the battery in myself. So I tried to pay him for the battery because, in New York, your battery lasts the entire lifetime of your vehicle. Down here, you're lucky if it lasts for 2 years. So I do want to thank those guys for what they, because I didn't want to see the ugly yellow truck on the back of a pickup.
You really got good service, but I feel like if it was there for an entire day,
right.
Don't they check?
Yeah, he said to me.
You can tell if you put a thing on, oh, this battery's about ready to die. I mean.
Yeah, he said to me, I don't know how we didn't pick this up because we actually have to sign off on all these different things. So, but whatever, it's fixed and I have a new battery and everything's fine.
And I didn't have to come back and get you. So.
Right. All right.
I would have left you here.
Enough about us. That was a 9-minute time waster right there. So let's get to our first guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know these fine folks, but they are the original owners of the La Ola business. And we're We're going to invite them on. They can tell us who they are, and watch the balloons. They're starting to break in the heat.
Just make sure.
Just don't go
you're
over far too much because you're
Oh, sorry.
slightly out of the camera. There we go.
I was looking
Yes.
down. And
Got
whacked
already
him
the
with it.
first hit. Yes.
I know. I just
So,
whacked him.
Tell everybody
All right,
who
so
you are.
Yes. Introduce yourselves so that I don't ruin your names.
Okay, so I gonna pass it to the lady first,
Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Renate List.
and I'm Thomas List. So we had a crazy idea around 15 years ago because we are from Austria, and so we went for vacationing to Fort Myers Beach, and we fall immediately in love with this beautiful little beach
Island.
town here, and and we said, how can we make it happen that we can stay here a little bit longer? We had our kids with us. So in this time, our two little boys, we tried to give them a good education. So we gave them to the Southwestern Christian Academy School in Fort Myers. And then we said, hey, there's a little joint down on the beach. It was for sale at this time. And,
Was it called something else at the time?
Yeah, it was a weird name. I don't know. Many
It was
kids
called
here.
Burrito Go-Go.
Burrito Go-Go,
Oh.
but nobody was dancing. So, okay, I was the first dancer at this time. So what we did is we contact the agency and they said, oh yeah, this is for sale. So let's do it. And
How much did you pay for it back then?
at this time, I think she wanted 150,000, but there was a very bad winter at this time of the year. It was very cold, so she needed the money. And my wife, she's a pretty good,
Negotiator.
Oh, yeah,
Negotiator, for sure.
she squeezed her down to 65,000.
Wow.
So
I'm taking you with me next
Yeah,
time I go.
yeah.
I think I'm good. Boy.
Now, just so everybody knows, they don't own the property; they own
Right.
the business.
Right.
Chris Primo and his family. Did they own the property at the time too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
But I dealt with Norm, the
Chris's dad.
exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we saw the place, and actually, we fall completely in love. It was actually a very, very exciting thing, when we saw all the tables. There was not one flat table on the whole property.
It was actually really horrible.
I'm sure the slant was exactly the same it was 15 years ago because they
Pretty
haven't
much.
done anything to improve on it.
Not really. So, all right, we saw it, and then slowly we start to remodel everything.
Yeah.
So
But you have to tell them first how it really looked like, because we had around, I think it was 5 or 6 tables what we had at this time. They all had different colors. There was like 4 or 5 different kind of chairs, different colors. The umbrellas were almost like a regular umbrella, not a big umbrellas.
Mhm.
There was the bar area. There was just sand. There was no floor. There was a broken bar, if you can call it. It was almost nothing.
Mhm.
Inside there was just the bathroom and the kitchen. The kitchen, we had like a freezer of like a refrigerator, what you use at home. Actually, there was the only freezer what we had at this time when
So
we
you
took
needed
it
to
over.
do some upgrades.
kind of,
Yeah.
So,
So you had to put the 80,000
yeah.
right back into it.
yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah.
and more.
But it was a fun thing, and we got really great support immediately from all the islanders here,
Yeah.
and they helped us out.
So 15 years ago, was there still a road here, or was it
No.
already converted to the? Okay.
There was already the walkway,
Yeah,
at night,
Which was a great move. I
Yeah.
know
Beautiful,
people
yes.
objected to it when they were thinking about converting it from a road to blocking it off, but it turned out great for Times Square.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, and when we come down here, when we came down here, this street was actually a silent street. At 7:00 after dinner, everything was closed down.
Yeah.
Everybody went home, so it was just nothing going on. So I had a crazy idea. I said, "Look, Renate, we have to promote this a little bit more here."
Yes. They still need to promote it.
Yeah, but I did a pretty good job, Okay, we got a little unlucky with the hurricane, but you see, there's so much spirit
People
in
love
this
it here.
island,
Yes. Yeah.
And I heard everything with you on the radio. So what's going on? What is moving on?
Mhm.
So and you see, it's better than ever,
Yeah.
And
So you're
When
from
you owned it, you lived on the beach.
no, we lived in McGregor on the landings.
Okay.
Where we
We
are
had
still
to drive down every morning, so it took us
Right.
sometimes an hour.
Right.
You got to get here before the
Oh,
traffic.
yes, you know,
Yeah, but
and-
we had to bring the kids to the school first, so that's
beach
why.
school?
No.
Okay,
South
gotcha. Oh, that's right. You mentioned that.
Yes.
So you're from Austria.
Yes.
Who's the most famous person to ever come out of Austria?
It's Thomas List. That's me.
Okay, besides you. Good
And
answer.
there's a
Arnold
guy called
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger, but
Yeah.
he's on the other side of the coast, so
Yeah.
you know.
Did you ever
he
work out
does,
with
he
him?
does his shady things over there.
He
You know?
does shady things. Wow. Do you get to? I mean, why did you move from Austria to the United States?
It was, you know.
You don't have to answer all the questions, by the way. You can let your wife answer some.
Okay.
Why did you move from Austria to the? I'm not.
Actually, we never wanted to move.
I think I didn't mean it in a mean way. I was
We
just being
just-
goofy.
We just wanted to go for 1 year to America
I see.
to educate the kids and learn all the language as well.
Yeah.
And after 1 year, we really enjoyed it, and I said it's actually a really nice place. We enjoy it, and especially the winter time when it's temperature
Right.
is perfectly. So when we went back, because we still had our job, we asked there if we can stay another year here in Florida, and they extended.
So when you first come, you're on a. Is it a 6-month visa? Or how did that work?
It was pretty much an 6 months visa. Yes.
So how do you say sham recall in Austria? In Austrian,
What?
The sham recall. How do you say
Yeah,
that in Austrian? Sham recall.
What is sham recall?
No, never mind.
Okay.
So-
I never heard about this one.
yeah. So you come to the United States, but why do you land in this spot?
We had a friend here, and he offered us, hey, when you want to come, hey, take our house,
Mm-hmm.
rent it out, and stay here for 1 year. And that's what we did, you know. And it went pretty fast because I had a business still in Austria.
I see.
And my wife always wanted to come here, and I told her, hey, I buy you a nice car when we can stay in Austria, okay?
Mhm.
I do not want to go over there. No, let's go 1 year, 1 year.
So pretty much I convinced him that we.
Because you're the negotiator. Yeah.
Correct.
In Austria, do they drive? Is the steering wheel on the right side of the car or the left side of the
No,
car?
it's on the left side.
You had to think about that, though.
Yeah.
You had to think about it. The
No,
left
no,
side.
no,
Is
no,
it on the
we-
left side?
Here's is also on the left.
Same thing.
Same
Yeah,
here,
Yeah.
same,
you know.
same.
I think that
So-
should be a
It's
universal
only
rule.
in the UK, you know.
Yeah. Why is it on the right side in the UK? Why did they decide to do it that way?
I have no idea.
Why do you think? Who is the president of
Can I
Austria
ask
right
a
now?
question? You're
The
talking
president
about.
of Austria is a good question. Yeah. What's
You
his
don't want to
name?
know he's not the best.
No.
Yeah,
There's no skiing here, though. Are you guys skiers?
We
Yes.
are absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Big time.
Where
yeah,
do you go
can't
skiing
do
here?
that here.
Yeah. we
I
do
mean,
it.
not in Florida.
We haven't skied since we are here.
Really?
And we should have started water skiing here.
Ah.
Yeah.
So you own La Ola 15 years ago. How long did you own it before Tom came along? And did Tom ever work for you here, or
Thomas was our manager before.
He was the
and
manager.
First of all, I want to say congratulations, Thomas, anyway, for staying that long with La Ola and also working for us, because we really enjoyed having you in our company, and you improved and helped us a lot as well.
Yes,
So
very nice.
congratulations, Thomas.
are we supposed to call you Thomas, or is that your
His name
official
is
name?
Thomas, and I always like to call him
yes?
Thomas.
And he's got a lovely wife. His wife
And
is
his
very
lovely
lovely.
wife, for sure.
Yes.
Congratulations
Yeah,
to
you
you
know,
as well.
actually, you know, he was working next door, you know, with Brett and
Where?
So-
what next door? What was next door?
Wahoo Willis.
Wahoo
Willis.
But then they got in some
Fight?
kitchen troubles.
Oh,
They
they
had the-
did.
They had the
They
fire.
had the fire, you know, so
Oh,
it was
fire.
a good chance. And I said to Renate, hey, this is the guy what I want, you know.
Yeah. Did Tom
And,
start the
yeah.
fire?
Probably, yeah. so we,
So you owned it for how many years before you sold it to Tom?
5 years.
5
A
years.
little bit over 5 years.
And
yeah.
so I'm sure you made him a deal and you sold it to him for $65,000, which you got it for. You don't need to answer that. I don't want to.
He got a great deal, and
Yes.
he's still in business, so we
Yeah.
probably sold it for a very decent amount.
Right. So,
And where are you guys now?
Yeah, we are, you know, we moved on actually because Renate, her history is a little bit in the booze business, you know, so in the liquor business. So her,
never go wrong with that.
yeah, you know,
By the way,
everybody
I
likes that.
don't
you
mean
know?
to sidetrack you, but I don't know what sample beer that you had out here. The Sun, some
The
kind of
Corona.
Sun Corona. Wow, that is a great beer. So, is it going to be here today? Are there going to be more samples today, or are you selling it here, Tom? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
We were
That's
drinking
good.
too much yesterday.
Yeah.
You were?
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful, nice citrusy orange.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
You know,
yeah.
so
It,
it's
it
very
had like a little
refreshing.
carbonation. It felt like it had a little
Yeah, it was
carbonation.
really
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yes.
But anyhow, so we, since Renate is involved in the liquor business, and Renate is actually who everybody has at least one bad experience in life. She's from the Jägermeister family, you know. So,
Oh, wow.
So Renate said, why we are, you know, buying all this alcohol and why we don't produce it by ourselves, you know? I said, yeah, that's not a bad idea. So we went together to Chicago, did a course, a weekend course, you know, in distilling. And then she still had the La Ola here.
Yeah.
And I started already with the distillery in Fort Myers.
Wow.
With the license and everything set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still open? The
It's
business?
still open.
Where
We
is it?
have actually a 10-year anniversary now.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's called List Distillery, Mr. Tom Spirits.
Where is it located?
It's located on Evans Avenue.
All right. Well,
And,
we're for
please
hire.
come by. You know, when you're thirsty, we can make you
Yeah, we
happy
gotta
also
do
over
that.
there. You know, we do tours and tasting every day. Everything is for free. Just come by and have fun.
Wait,
And,
Everything is for free?
yes.
For the
Just-
during
just
the
a
tour
tour
and
and
the
tasting.
Oh, I
tasting.
got
For
you.
the
I
tour
was going to
We
tasting.
say,
should come and do a show and
Be
we'll
careful
tour
about-
and
That'd be great,
tasting.
yeah.
be careful
Yes.
about saying
Anytime.
anything that has to do with liquor and free to anyone on the beach. That's you want to just make sure you're crystal clear about
The
that.
good
So-
thing is I'm Austrian and my English is so bad. When I say free is free, free, you know. So we had a very good, fun story. I think it was our first New Year's Eve party here on the beach. So Thomas had a great idea. Let's do some cello shots, you know.
Mhm.
So we said, okay. So we prepped, I think, almost 5,000 cello shots.
What's a cello shot?
A
Jello.
Cello. It's a,
kidding.
it's a like a music, you know, like you know, Sound of Music, cello.
Yes,
Yes,
gotcha.
yes.
I'm with you.
So
I'm slow learner.
We did
That's for sure.
we did around 5,000 cello shots this night. You know,
You did yourself.
no,
The whole crowd.
the crowd.
I
yeah.
gotcha.
So
Now we produced
and
it.
my promotion was 1 for 3,
1 for 3,
2 for 5,
2 for $5.
and 3 for 10. Yes.
Yes. American
So-
or Austrian?
Oh yeah, American.
American.
You know,
What is the exchange rate in dollars and Austrian? What is the Austrian
money.
we have
It's euros.
European euros.
euros? Okay,
Yes,
which
so-
are worthless these days.
They are up around 20% ahead compared to the dollar. right
So
now.
$10 of American money is worth $2 in
Like
Austria.
eight.
No, it's the opposite. Opposite.
Eight
No, so
dollars.
let's say 10 American dollars
around $8
is
would be
around
eight.
8
Yeah.
Is
euros.
is it Austria as free a country as America?
You know, Austria is first of all an independent country. So
Yeah.
we are like Switzerland.
Okay,
So if somebody attacks us in the wartime,
we have to save
always-
your ass just like
Yes,
everybody else.
yeah.
I got you. Do you have?
Yeah,
do you have
Donald,
gun-
Donald is everywhere right now, you know, so you cannot get rid of him. You know?
So you gave out 5,000 shots.
So yeah, and you know, and as everybody, mathematics is very well here in the States, so everybody was laughing.
Yes.
1 for 3,
Right.
2 for 5, and 3 for 10. Something is wrong here, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but we sold the whole night, you know, 3 for 10 all the time,
Yeah.
and just 2 guys came back and said, "Look, your mathematics is something off." You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Because when I buy 2 for 5, I get more than I buy 3 for 10.
Yeah.
Right. I said, okay, you got the checkbook. You got extra, you know. But
You just get more shots then.
You
Yeah.
know, we just had some fun, and that was actually a very nice.
That was New Year's Eve.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we took it over on the 1st of July. Actually,
We got to
you know?
get used to hearing babies cry like
I
that.
know.
It's such a lovely sound. More crying, the better. So we're about to have a grandchild in October. Do you have kids and
Yeah,
We have 3 kids.
any grandkids, or is it too soon?
Not yet. No grandkids.
Where are the kids?
The
In-
boys are working in our company.
okay,
So both
Very
of them
nice.
are, and my daughter lives in Austria.
very nice. What does she do in Austria?
She just finished her university, and she will start soon working in science environmental.
Oh, okay.
Nice. And,
Do you know how? Does she know how fast leatherback turtles can swim from here
They're
to
not
Key West?
marine sciences.
Have to ask her.
Why are you so obtuse today?
100 miles an hour. Those turtles can swim. You watch them on the screen. There's
Yeah.
100.
I apologize.
100
Don't
miles an
believe
hour.
anything he says.
Yeah, we Google it up anyway later on. So
You got to get away from the sharks. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to be fast.
So any final words you want to share about La Ola and Tom and Thomas?
you know, as you can see, you know, the audience is perfect. He has a very very loyal
Yes.
crowd all the time, and you know, his and his wife, you know, they're doing a great job, you
Yes.
know, and I think the legacy, what we started and what he built it up now should go on, you know.
Yeah.
He has big dreams also for the future. I think this is just the beginning of La Ola Part 2.
Yeah. Have you seen the new building?
Oh yeah,
Very
It's,
nice.
You know, he's gonna make for sure some really cool things here. And
Will you guys come back for the groundbreaking and the ribbon cutting?
For sure, of course.
the new
You know,
building?
we try to support him wherever we can. You know, that's
Great.
what we're here for. And I see also over there a nice gentleman with his lovely wife. You know,
Yes.
they
Yep.
were also next door neighbors.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Are
So-
you? What's your 11:30? What time are you in the tank?
11:30.
We're at 11:30. Jason is here from Jason and Jacinta here from Margaritas, and Jason is in at 11:30, and they're awesome people too, just like you two.
And you know, I think you do also a great show. We listen it all the
Thank you.
time.
It's mostly
you know,
me.
and,
She's just
He's
along for the
okay.
ride.
He's okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she does especially. You know,
Yeah.
it's.
I got to put up
it's-
with him. So
Well, thank-
Is it woman owned?
yes.
Just one
Yeah,
more
that's
thing.
good. Yeah,
I just
that's-
want to
that's
thank
what
you,
I thought,
everybody
you know.
who supported us when we had La Ola, and also thank you, everybody who is supporting Thomas right now.
All right.
Appreciate it
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Big hand
Thank you
for
guys
the
so much.
original owners of La Ola. Thank you for coming
Thank
on.
you, guys.
Thank you for coming down. And I'm going to read an ad or two, and then Jason's going to come on for 30 seconds. Folks, if you have a chance to go down to the Seagrape Plaza, please visit the Island Pancake House. They're the only business over there, and I know it's hard to see from the street, but everybody knows they're there. They serve breakfast and lunch. They're open 7 days a week, 7:30 to 2, and they will stay open if longer, if the demand is there. And they have a full liquor license because there's nothing better than pancakes and whiskey. Try it. I'm telling you, it tastes good. Wash down some pancakes with a little bit of whiskey or beer. They are open 7 days a week, 2 o'clock, 7:30 to 2 o'clock. Say hello to Brian and Stacy for us at the Island Pancake House. Let me see what number you got on there. What number you got on there? 3. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason, the co-owner of Margaritas, which used to be located right next door, right?
Right next door. Yep.
And good friends of Tom's. And you also have a location. You were quick to open a location on 41, which used to be, what was it the last time? It was changed.
Before we bought it, it was the Rhythm House. So we just added that to the end of our name. But prior to that, it was Cadillac Jacks, bench warmers. It's been multiple things because the plaza's been there almost 50 years.
Yeah, and it was
now.
like a sports bar back.
Sports bar back long ago. Yeah.
Now you got entertainment. You got poker, like
Yep,
charity
yeah,
poker
we have,
games.
Yep, we have like tournament style poker that they do. Live entertainment almost every day of the week. Yeah, we have a lot of things going on. We have some new things coming up. We've got a few tribute bands coming up. Some rock and roll tribute bands that come. Some of them are coming from Las Vegas, California. Some of them are coming from all over the United States to come play.
Now I know you would love to be back on the beach and have like Tom. Tom just cannot not be on the beach. This is where he wants to be. This is the spot he wants to be in. And come hell or high water, he's going to rebuild this building here. Have you made any inroads trying to get Margaritas back on the beach?
We look, we're always looking for an opportunity to get back here. That's why we moved here from Pennsylvania, was to be on this beach. So we have some things we're looking at right now. Nothing's set in stone at this point, but we are working on something at this point.
Oh, good. I mean, it's unfortunate to see how it seems like Times Square. I feel like I've said this from the beginning after the storm. I don't know that anything would ever be built down here because you have so many people that own different pieces of property. Like, Brad owns a couple pieces across, pieces here. And he passed away, so his kids own it. And then you got Terry that owns, different Chris and his family. They haven't been able to get together on putting something up, and the town owns the middle, so it's a whole cluster of things that you have to have agreement on.
It's not going to be an easy task for anyone to build here. Before the hurricane, the town was going to have to rip all this up to redo the infrastructure underneath of us. So I'm sure that still has to be done before Tom or anyone starts to build
Yeah.
you know, anything up. So that's something I'm not sure if the town's looking at possibly doing here now that it's the off season, or getting everything in place to do that. But, you know, the new buildings here, it's going to be beautiful. I mean, Tom can tell you firsthand. I mean, we all dealt with it. We all had buildings that were old. We're constantly coming in every day, fixing something, you know, so these new buildings will be beautiful. They'll be still the people that are here is what made Fort Myers Beach, Fort Myers Beach. Doesn't matter how tall the building is, how short the building is. You came here for the people, not the building. That's for sure.
Yeah. I remember you were starting to refurbish the second floor, right?
Second floor.
And
Yeah.
it had a deck on it where you could actually sit at the bar and look at the beach.
Yep.
And it was coming along. It was coming along. The inside was done, and the outside, you were fixing the roof and the whole thing. And then it almost seemed like right when you were about to freaking open that up. So, I mean, because everybody, if you've been to Nashville, it's all about the rooftop bars, and you don't even get to look over a beach. Now you were going to get your first opportunity to overlook a beach, and the effing storm came through and ruined everything. And I remember seeing you guys come down here after the devastation of that storm, and it was just like, oh my gosh, crazy. It was crazy.
Crazy. I mean, we came here, so we left the morning of the storm, went over to the other coast. And then just my wife and I came back the next day. We came here, this first place we came. We didn't even go look at our house. And come over that bridge, you saw all the debris, you know, coming over the bridge. And then the only thing standing was the tower.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it didn't look like this.
It did not look like that,
They did a nice
for
job.
sure, you know.
Yeah. And who was, what was the gentleman's name that used to work for John at Pete's Timeout? That he really took the first video of, he was, I don't know. Oh, he lived on the beach at the time. He lived, I think he's in Key West now, right?
Yes.
He took video of Times Square, and it was just for the longest time, it was just a bundle of debris sitting everywhere. And then some of the debris was in Bayside Park.
Yeah, I mean,
but now when you come by, you come down and you see how, not so much Times Square, but you go down to Bayside Park, or you go down, like I was down Primo yesterday. It does really, it's come a long way for such destruction.
It
less
has.
than 3 years ago.
I don't know that anyone, I guess, is ready for this. I don't care how much you prepare, how much a government prepares, how much your town prepares. I mean, Tom and I were here literally until 10, 11 o'clock the night before, filling up sandbags over here at the beach, putting them at our buildings, which, you know, honestly, the next day when we came here, I had sandbags laying in front of my building, which was gone. So that's the only thing that survived was the sandbags we filled up.
The day before the storm, do you remember this, Tom? I don't know if you remember this. The day before the storm, I was doing a walk around video, just kind of like a last kind of thing before the storm. I went to Yucatan and I had a beer over there, and there were people just sitting there drinking. You know, they lived on the other side of the island, so they thought they'd just have a beer with Yucatan for as long as they could that day. And I come walking over here, and here's Tom out in the beach filling like four or five sandbags up, and I'm like, all right, well, maybe that'll help. I mean, if the water comes up, it'll keep it from coming out of the door. And then, you know, you come back the next day and there's freaking nothing left. It was bizarre. It was,
devastating.
you know, but it really, I know the buildings were old. It didn't really take a Category 5 hurricane. Those buildings were old.
Honestly, I'm surprised they lasted as long as they did. You know, again, Tom can attest to this. You literally had to fix something every day. The buildings were 40, 50 years old, you know, built to code that was, you know, antique. You look at the buildings on the south end that had been built recently to code, and they all lasted. Every one of them, you know, fared through the storm. They might have knocked out their garages, but hey, garage doors are cheap, bottom floors are cheap to replace some drywall, and no one perished in those buildings.
Before the storm, the town had a line of credit of $10 million, and they were going to put some of the money into Times Square. They're going to put some into, I think, Bay Oaks or Bayside Park. There were 3 projects. I can't remember what they were. And they were going to pull this whole thing up, and they were going to redo because it does puddle. It was puddling in different areas. On a little side note thing, that the funniest thing in Times Square was the money machine at the Dairy Queen. Do you guys remember the money machine?
Yeah.
We'd sit at Pete's Timeout before the show, and people would go to the money machine, but it wouldn't just slide the money out. The thing must have had a fan behind it, because every time people got their money, it would fly out, fly all over Times Square. It was hilarious.
It was like something you see in a movie. It would shoot out.
Yeah, and people we like sitting at table 23 at Times Square in Pete's Timeout, just waiting. Okay, gotta watch, see how many dollars go flying. around out of that machine. But the town had a great project plan. They were going to give all the businesses awnings, so it would really look cool. And now there's like 3 or 4 different renderings of what might happen or might not happen. But I
think Tom set the precedence of what
could
the
be done.
Times Square is going to look like for everyone. I mean, it's if you can have something that's going to be cohesive in your design, the colors can all be different, so we can all, whoever's going to be here can
that's
be
what you want.
the same, not the same, but the buildings should all be structured similar, so that, you come to Tom's and his is painted a certain way and decorated a certain way, and then the next restaurant, same type.
So let me ask you this. So right across the street here, I mean, I'm not trying to pick on Terry. I think we're kind of patching things up, but he had plans for like 50-unit hotel to put right here.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not so sure that's a great idea.
No,
I mean,
I
understand, there's obviously a dollar figure that's attached to all these buildings and the properties that are here, and try to maximize that square footage to get your money back in a timely manner before you're not, gone from this planet is going to be tough for people here on this beach.
Cheeseburger is going to cost $72 when these buildings go up.
Yes, that's right. It's going to be the best cheeseburger you ever ate. But that's
So-
what it is. You come here, you're here for the fun and just the, hey, I'm on vacation.
That's right. That's right. When we go to Nashville or whatever, I don't complain about the bill. Well, she complains about the bill all the time. She yelled at me yesterday because she thought I had to drive her across the island because she wanted to park in the free parking lot. I said, it's my fault that you had to walk back over because I wanted to stay here for another half an hour. My truck didn't start anyway, so you were going to have to walk across the bridge no matter what. So that's how cheap she's not cheap, but that's how money conscious she is.
Well,
so.
that's why that is. That's because her hairdresser raised her price.
She gets her hair done for free. You have a family member that does it. So, I mean, so we got lots of money in the bank, that's for sure. But like I said yesterday when I was trying to do the 50-50 raffle, you can't take it with you when you croak, so you might as well just spend it on a charity or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So anything else you want people to know about your place on 41?
We open at 11. We're family friendly, so bring the kids out. There's lots to do. If you go on our website, you can see our full calendar of events out for almost the rest of the year into next year. So it's a great place to be. Is it the beach? No, but we still have the same staff. We kept everyone on board that didn't go get another job in the interim of us buying it. But it's a great place. It's fun. It's family friendly. So come out and visit us. We're just near Alico Road, just right up 41. From here, it's literally maybe 5 miles, if that.
All right. And you'll be in the dunk tank at 11:30.
I'll be in the dunk tank.
All right. Big hand for Jason and Jacinta from Mangaritas. All right. Before we get to the man of the hour, the man of the weekend, and the man of the beach, I want to tell you about Parrot Key. They're located right across the bridge. So if you happen to park in the free parking lot for whatever reason, and you don't want to spend $5 or $7 parking on this side of the bridge, you can walk right over to Parrot Key down Main Street. It's waterfront dining at Salty Sam's Marina. It's island time all the time at Parrot Key. They have Sunday brunch from 9 a.m. to noon featuring Monster Marys, bottomless mimosas, and lobster eggs Benedict, twin lobster tails for Sunday dinner and Sunday brunch. And the great Frank Torino performs every Thursday and Saturday. For more information about Parrot Key, go to myparrotkey.com. That's myparrotkey.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest round of applause today goes to this man, your friend, everyone's friend, the owner of La Ola, Thomas Houghton. Now I got to call him Thomas. It's got to be official. Tom, sit down. You're making me nervous. All right. You got mic number 3.
Ed.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Thank you for inviting us here. We appreciate you having us part of your big celebration here. How's it been going so far?
It's been a great weekend. The level of support's been amazing for this time of year to fill the place up. It's been great. And with the dunk tank raising all the money for the charity yesterday, everyone's having fun. And looking forward to a huge day today. We got Red Hannah coming on 2 to 5.
Oh,
and
cool.
Faded Roots tonight. Full reggae band from 7 to 10.
And it will be a rain-free day.
Rain-free day.
Yes.
We have some Saharan dust.
Yes, we
helping
like
us
the
out
dust
today,
more than
so
the
it's
rain.
a great day
You're
to come
giving
down to
a
the beach.
little cover here.
What are you doing?
I have a fan.
It's not that bad.
Personal fan.
It's a personal fan. You don't
Where-
have any hair, so
Did you buy that fan?
No, I borrowed it.
Okay, I was going to say she doesn't spend any
I've
money
got
at
some
any
money.
time. So,
Are you getting in the dunk tank again today?
I am. I
Wow.
was asked to go in today, so I believe I'm going on a little earlier today. So noon.
yes, and
Yeah,
today's
how was it yesterday afternoon?
Well, I think by the time they got to me, everyone was all practiced and was very,
You
very
really-
good at hitting the target. So I saw a lot of water yesterday.
so the what you were saying about yesterday was there were a couple of kids here from it was Greg Skasny's son and John Goss's
Oh.
son. They were just hailing balls at you. It's like they weren't.
Yeah, I
somebody
think
got
it was
bored.
like the Little League World Series pitchers were here yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, they are definitely. They know how to hit a target. And today's charity is the PTO. So yesterday was a women's club, and we're also going to be. If you buy 5 balls for $3, $3 for 5 balls, you are also going to be entered in to win this golf bag here. Tell us about the golf bag, Tom.
Well, I think also the golf bag's part of the 50-50
Right.
drawing ticket.
Oh, the 50-50. That's right. Okay, so we
yes.
can do that. We can start that. Marie, we got the bucket over there that I brought from Margaritaville. Do we have the tickets? If anyone wants to get in on that now, we can start the 50-50 for the PTO. And so that'll be a Callaway golf bag, right?
Well, it's a Corona Premier golf bag. I'm not sure what
same
the
thing.
yeah.
Same company. Yeah. So
Same.
Not even close.
are there other prizes, or were they given away yesterday?
They were given away yesterday.
Okay, so
Yep.
that's the golf bag will be part of the 50-50. And when you buy the 50-50 raffle, if you win, don't feel obligated to give any of it back. You can keep it all for yourself, just like the lady did yesterday. Now, when I said that, it aggravated you.
I don't like that you know,
Trying-
let people do what they want to do.
Right. She thinks I'm shaming people when I say you should probably, like, you can kick a little bit of money back for the charity. I mean, you're walking home with money that you never expected for $1. So, but feel free to take it all home. That's totally fine. Nobody will think less of you. What was the lady's name yesterday that didn't give any of the money back?
Oh, stop.
So, Tom, 15 years of this
15
business
years.
and 10 years for you.
Yeah, well, I've been here almost the entire time. I think it was about 14 and a half that I've actually been working right here.
Wow.
So, how did the fire start next door?
You know, I was at home. So
sure you were.
Yeah, I have an alibi, but it was a small kitchen fire.
Yeah.
That happened at Wahoo Willie's.
Who owned that at the time?
Brad Benson
Okay.
owned the building, and Nick and Mary Ruland were. I think they may have had a partner or two, but they were the owners, the managing owners anyway.
And they decided eventually to open Wahoo Willie's down at Bayside Park years
Well,
and years later.
They also own the Fishmonger, which was just
Right.
over the bridge. So they actually were nice enough to move me over there.
Where's the Fishmonger?
It's at the
Well,
base
it's
of the
gone
it's
now,
gone,
too, but
but it
it's-
was at the
yeah.
base of the bridge.
Right after Prescott on the right. It was the
Okay.
Shark Bar.
Oh, the
Most
Shark
recent-
Bar.
most
Got you.
recently.
Got you. It's gone. The building's gone now. Got you.
Yes.
Okay, so you start a fire next door, and then you somehow buy this place. No, I'm kidding. So what made you think that you wanted to own this restaurant here? Why?
Well, I'd never dreamt of it when I first started working for Tom, and
There he goes.
working hand in hand with Tom and Renate was that the on the job training was just amazing because they had a wealth of experience that they
Yeah.
brought over here from Europe in the previous lives over there. So I learned a ton from them, and I think as the years went by, Tom saw an opportunity, as he mentioned, to get in the liquor distilling business. So
Yeah.
I think, and he wanted me to be able to continue to grow. So it just worked out for both of us. We were able to come to an agreement, and I was able to buy it and realize my dream.
So
in
I don't-
2015.
2015. So I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I when you come over the bridge after Ian, and you saw everything was gone, what did you think? What went through your mind? Besides, we all cried. We know we all cried.
Yeah, a lot of crying, and
Did you have cameras up here so you kind of knew, or was it complete surprise when you came over?
I had actually gotten a call from a friend of mine that was staying at the Lighthouse, and he told me the building was gone. So I was mentally somewhat prepared for it.
But
when I
coming
came
over and seeing it, and not only that, but it was not easy to get over the bridge. I mean, the sand was all the way. It was basically like a snowstorm or actually, I have always said it was like a Mad Max movie on Estero Boulevard, because the entire boulevard was covered with sand and debris and wood and buildings and everything.
Everything.
And so you finally
all
get
the
over.
inventory from the store. You know,
Yeah.
there were a million pairs of Hey Dudes going up the bridge, and just
Yeah.
my bar stools, and I started. You notice stuff that belongs to your restaurant, so I started seeing all that stuff all the way going up the bridge.
So what did you do when you came over? I mean, you just decided to turn around and go back? I mean,
Cried some more.
There's
Yeah.
nothing you can really do, right?
There wasn't a whole lot. Yeah, you started looking around to see if there was anything that you wanted to keep. There just wasn't a lot.
So ironically, when you finally get open with a food truck, you started with like one food truck, right? Or two, or was it one food truck?
Just one. The food truck that we have today,
Yeah.
right? I purchased that over near I think in Hialeah, Florida.
Hialeah.
Hialeah.
They play
We
high.
drove over there, and I think we bought that on October 7th. So it was like, 10, 11 days after the storm.
So some of the first people that you're feeding are FEMA people, right?
Yeah, more than likely they were. Yeah. Well, you know what it was? It was a lot of everyone was wearing a hard hat. They were either doing restoration and search and rescue.
Yeah, I don't think that's FEMA.
Yeah, I remember
The FEMA people were here. They didn't really come out and say, "Hey, I'm FEMA." In fact,
Right.
nobody from FEMA's ever come up to me.
There could be FEMA people
this
sitting.
day,
embarrassed.
to this day, I've never actually
Yeah.
been introduced.
There
to
could
them.
be FEMA people in the audience, but
There
they
could be.
refuse
There
to
could be.
identify
And,
themselves.
if there are, I'd like to talk to them about getting in the dunk tank today.
At first, we'll change the we'll drain.
That line would be so long.
Yeah, we'll drain the water and put acid in it.
You'd
in
make
the dunk
enough
tank.
money to build that doggone school if you did that.
So
right?
one of the first shows we did after was at Pete's Time Out, which is where we did the show for 5 years.
Yeah.
And we sat the bar stools down right in the rubble, and we had Dan there, and I think we had Alex King there the first time too, because he had a check. He was at the time he was just trying to help people with his foundation,
Right.
giving money out. We sat there. We actually did interview a FEMA person
Yes, we did.
on that spot, and of course with the FEMA people, they were like coming in one week and out the next week. You never knew who the next person was going to be. There was no real connection with the community.
We had them on a couple of times because
Yes.
we had them on at Wahoo Willie's.
We did,
And
and
they
I-
did. Then they would answer some
Yeah,
tough
she
questions,
said
but
we
then
went
that
home.
was stopped.
We went home after that show, and she said, "Oh, they're nice people. They're really going to help." And I said, "No, you're never going to hear from them again. They're never going to answer any questions," and they never did. But anyway, enough about that. So your new drawings are out.
Yes.
You're going to rebuild. Tell
Yep.
everybody where we are in this process.
Well, there have been a few interesting developments with that. We're talking. Everybody's the buzzword right now seems to be about wave walls. So
Yes.
wave mitigation walls. So there are a couple options. We're working with the Times Square owners, keeping an open dialogue about the possibility of getting the wave wall out on the beach.
Yes.
So,
So
we're protecting
just-
all of Times Square.
For anybody that doesn't know, the town is actually looking into installing a wave mitigation wall across the entire island if they could get everybody to agree with it. And part of, I think, what they're trying to get as public benefit for a new build or something like that, or just get property owners that have property on the beach to buy into it to try and slow down the storm surge.
Yep.
If there's ever another storm. And that could also not only impact your insurance rates, it could also impact how you build. You might be able to do
definitely
more.
how you build, because for us it would mean getting out of the V zone and going into, I believe it's called the coastal A zone. So we would be able to drive flood proof, have real restrooms, walk-in coolers, a lot more uses on the ground level than if we remain in the V zone. Doesn't mean we're not going to flood.
Sure.
but
Right.
but
You're
we
not
can
going
do
to
a
get
lot more
that
on the
wave
ground.
action, and that's what destroyed
Yeah.
so much.
So
I mean, that just seems like
a no-brainer.
I know exactly, because it
Back-
would make a huge difference.
And back when nobody was thinking about it, Margaritaville offered
Yep.
to put that in at no charge to the
Oh,
town.
I
It never
remember.
happened.
I remember. Yeah.
So where are you on the new building?
Well, I've been consulting with J.R. Evans Engineering. We're supposed to be meeting again next week. They're coming back with a proposal. We're going to talk about, the wave wall could go out on the beach. It could also go on our property line.
Oh.
Maybe there's a possibility that we could work with the town and actually have it on the easement in the square.
Oh.
They were
Wow.
open to that. That would protect our building. The further you put it out there, the more obviously it would
Yeah.
protect.
Right.
So, but realistically, I think the last time we talked, you said how long before permits, and I think Rob was trying to be as optimistic as possible and say 1 year. the reality is we're looking at closer to 2 years before we would have permits in hand. The way
Seriously?
yeah, that's
So in a perfect world, if everything went according to a plan, when would you break ground and when might you open a new building?
I think May of 27 break ground and open 9 months later.
Okay. So
Maybe before that, before we even break ground on the building, there's a possibility that the wave mitigation wall could have already been built.
Gotcha.
And now we're in a coastal A and get part of
And
the
that,
project.
you're right.
Yeah.
is there going to be a place that people can come to La Ola until then?
Well, hopefully it's going to be right here.
Okay.
It's going to
All
be right here because that's critical to
Yes.
this project. The town's got to decide whether they want La Ola to be here or not, because by forcing me off, unfortunately, it's going to make it very challenging for
Do
the
you
project
is
to go
this
forward.
you want this spot? You want to be on this spot? Have you
Sure.
considered
Yes.
maybe a different spot, or no? You want this is where it needs to be.
Not until
You
I've
have to.
exhausted every opportunity here. Yeah.
Cool. So, is there anything that you want to share with your customers about how long you've been here and what the
No, it's
business
just,
means? What they mean to
You know, I was doing the math or trying to do the math, and this is just an estimation.
I can help you with that.
No, you can't.
It's amazing. I think we've done somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 live music performances right here in Times Square.
Wow.
And it's just such a huge number to think about, you know, how much joy and impact that's had to so many people over the years. And I just really hope that the town can come together, jump behind the business owners down here and revitalize this area while we still have the tourism industry that we are enjoying today. And I'm really concerned that if Times Square is vacated this year, if something doesn't give on this, that we're going to lose a lot of those customers forever. So,
All right.
I know this is where I want to spend the rest of my life, and I hope there's a path forward. Hopefully, we can find a way.
Well, you had a great partnership here. I mean, how did you guys meet and connect and then
Well, he was
eventually?
working here.
I know, but then eventually.
Thomas was my drinking buddy. I was coming over after work, and we solved most of the world's problems.
Yes, we do that every Saturday
nightly
night
Well,
in
basis.
the
maybe you can
backyard.
solve the problem of staying here, but not with,
Maybe we can get FEMA to come out and do some drinking with the Austrians.
Yeah.
Seems to work.
Yep. Maybe.
My
Little
money's on
Jägermeister.
them.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Tom? We're getting close to 11
Anything you
o'clock.
No,
wanna
I just
say
want
about
to. I
today,
want
or-
to thank both of you because, and especially with helping promote this event. But you've been very supportive the whole way through. But with this event, you've created a lot of awareness. So thank you for.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for getting the word out there.
Well,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Big hand for Thomas from La Ola, everybody. And we thank you all for coming out to La Ola and hope you spend a good part of the day here. It looks like the PTO has arrived. Who's got the, have you been practicing your throwing? I got a surprise for you. Don't you worry. I got a surprise for you. The tickets are $1 and the discount is $5 for 5. That's a special beach discount. $1 for 1, $5 for 5. Figure that out. That's Austrian math right there. And the 50-50 raffle will be drawn at, let's see, it's 11, 12. The 50-50 raffle will be drawn at 1 o'clock, and then we'll start another one at 1 o'clock. So we're going to give away the bag and the money at 1 o'clock. There'll be people in the dunk tank from now until, when's the last dunk tanker? 11 to 5 in the dunk tank, and live music starts at 2 o'clock. Come on down to Times Square, wherever you're watching this show, in Cape Coral, Estero, Fort Myers, or Wisconsin. You have plenty of time to get down here and enjoy the festivities. Thank you all for coming out. We'll be back next Sunday back at Wahoo Willie's and Saturday at Margaritaville. And you guys have a great day. We'll see you in the water. Bye-bye.